Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome or welcome back. Today I'm back to chat about Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. In my last review, I said episode 5 wasn't so good. And I thought about this because maybe I should have led with that. I didn't feel that we needed episode 5. It did little to advance the current day or present day in the story. But remember, if you remember, the last episode was 16 years prior, right? 16 years in the past, giving us insight into Jax's origin story. And I say all of that to say that this episode 6, titled Renegade, while I thought it did try to offer us more to the story itself, something was still off to me. I'm not sure what's happening. I think it's the pace of the story in this episode that is throwing me off a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to chat a little bit about episode 6. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts, keep listening. First, not sure where I've been, but I recently found out that every episode is titled after a Jay-Z song. I so see this now. In fact, during episode 3, I remember singing the hook 99 Problems because that was the title of the episode. Anyway, that's a fun fact. Kerry Washington, who is an EP of this show, thought it was important as Jay-Z is part of the culture. I think she's a fan of Jay-Z too, but I think it's cool. So every episode in this series, Reasonable Doubt, it's titled after a Jay-Z song. So check that out. Okay, I feel like this episode 6, it wasn't a fail, but it lacked a little something. I just haven't felt the same excitement and anticipation since episode 4. So let's start with Braden's case in this episode. All right, we're going to start with Braden's case. Jax asked Braden more than one time, what is it that Kalisha had on him? He finally admitted that she had been stealing from the company. We also learned more about Theo, which is Braden's business partner. Jax asked if he could trust Theo, and he said, yeah, he's known him since he was 18 in college. They both went to Columbia. Keeping Theo's trust at this point is very important because Jax has Kalisha's laptop. And remember, she confronted the cousin to get the laptop. She threatened her, remember? Anyway, she has the laptop and they went through it. They found something encrypted on the laptop and it was about the company. Since it is discovery in the case, they are legally obligated to turn the laptop over to the prosecutor. But before Jax decides to do this, she's repeatedly asked Braden, is there anything on that laptop or anything Kalisha knew that would compromise you? He finally came clean, gave Jax a folder he got from Theo, and the information included evidence where Kalisha was stealing from the company. And this is why Theo was overvaluing the company, which was another secret that was divulged. Jax, by the way, tells Braden to keep Theo close, right? We also know that Theo was trying to sell Braden's company, or we see that Theo was trying to sell Braden's company behind his back, no less. He's trying to go through it with Rich, and they plan to keep it from Jax. But Braden confronts him. He finds out about it. He confronts Theo. And then that's when Theo showed Braden the evidence of Kalisha stealing from the company, which is how all of that went back, or how all of that information got back to Jax. All right, the trial, they make their opening statements in the case. I did learn that, I don't know if I heard this before, but Kalisha died by the stem of the wine glass. So that's important to keep in mind. Mike, who is the prosecutor, his witness list included Ryan, which is Kalisha's husband, right? And we learned that he, meaning Ryan, has a secret himself. So Jax had Daniel do a little digging, and he happened to have they find out that Ryan happened to have been committed on a 5150, which is like a psych hold in the hospital. And this was during the time of Kalisha's murder because they proved that his phone was in a different location than Kalisha. I keep saying Kalia. I mean Kalisha's phone. And just to back up a little bit, initially, Jax was asking her investigator to dig into Ryan just to see, like, why is he on the prosecutor's list? And through that discovery, they found out that Ryan was in a hospital on a 5150, and that was due to a mental break or outburst he had. And I'll talk about that in a second. But so Ryan was committed in the hospital on a 5150 during the time or around the time Kalisha was murdered. And the way they know that the phone, he was in a different location, is because the prosecutor played the audio of Alicia, now I'm calling her Alicia, Kalisha calling Ryan's phone, and they hear like her last, they hear her dying on the phone. And it's so sad. They played the audio in court. Her cousin was upset. The husband was upset. It was awful. So needless to say, Ryan has an alibi. He was in the hospital locked up on a mental hold, on a psych hold. And if you were wondering how they got detailed medical records about Ryan, it was because of Sarah, who's Braden's wife. She even says you can get a lot with money and privilege. So I'm like, Sarah is a mess in this episode. All right, let's talk about Damon real fast. I did get a kick out of how Damon looks at Jax, right? We saw that he was the one she was talking to on the phone at the end of the last episode. They picked up on this episode in her house. Their love scene was a good scene. It was more intimate than that cringe scene from the jail when he was calling her from the burner. I also like when Jax was at the salon getting her hair done and then riding into work singing Golden. That was cute and that was relatable because I sing that song and get all into it when I'm in a good mood too. Back to Damon. We watched Damon give an ultimatum to Jax, basically asking her what she wants. Here's where I felt the pace of the episode was a little off to me. We know Damon and Jax are into one another, Damon more than Jax. And we go from the scene that was cringe, with that burner phone thing, to a love scene in her house, him wanting more, she pushing him away because she's not sure what she wants. She enjoys having a good time with him. But then she's back to not knowing how to navigate being single, only she's not technically single. And in parallel, Damon thinks that she doesn't want him because he just got out of jail. And the only way he can show her love is not with money, but how he treats her or, the things that he does. And an example was how he got that hotel room together and decorated it with flower petals and running her bath and everything like that. So she can have time to herself. I'm having trouble with the development between Damon and Jax. It's just moving fast, maybe. And who knows? That could be intentional, right? Because maybe Damon will wind up getting so frustrated and then holding Jax hostage. For all we know, right? Damon gets into a discussion with his brother towards the latter part of the episode, asking more about what his brother is into and wanting to know more. And we think he's doing this because he thinks that having money will win Jax over. Nothing good is going to come from this for him, for sure. All right. Lewis and Jax had a pleasant exchange when Lewis dropped the kids off. Even Jax's son appeared to be a little friendlier with his mom. Lewis told Jax that she was looking good on TV, right? She's in this high profile. Her case is so high profile, it's all over TV. Anyway, that caused Jax to frantically begin cleaning her counter. As we see in her flashback, she and Damon were all over that counter during that love scene. It just was odd. I don't know. I didn't get it. Like, you're cleaning the counter. Why are you? Whatever. Finally, in this episode, Sarah, which is Braden's wife, she's very messy in this episode. She went to see Ryan, who's Kalisha's husband. And don't forget that Ryan knows that Sarah sent those emails to Kalisha, right? Which proves that she knew about the affair when she was, and she told everyone she didn't, right? But she knew about that affair. In short, she tries to show him how to get revenge. That's what she calls it. While also asking him to keep the emails to himself because it'll just prove that she knew about the affair and potentially make her a suspect, right? But let me back up a little bit. Sarah is trying to prevent Braden from going to jail, as well as prevent anyone from considering her being a suspect because of those threatening emails to Kalisha. She doesn't believe Braden killed Kalisha. So she goes to Ryan. She gets Ryan's medical records to try to throw the scent off Braden and onto Ryan. They wanted to paint a picture that Ryan's outbursts and his mental health issues could have been so severe that he killed Kalisha. But the prosecution debunked that theory. He proved, like I said earlier, that Ryan's phone was in a different location, and the fact that Ryan was on a psych hold, a 5150, that kind of proved that, along with them paying the phone and proving that the phone was in a different location. That proved that was his alibi. So Sarah goes over to Ryan's house, basically saying that he really wants revenge, or trying to convince him and say, hey, you really want revenge for being hurt. You don't really believe that Braden killed Kalisha. You just want revenge because they slept together. One way she thought she'd get back or show him how to get revenge was through a sexual favor, right? Oral. She was on her knees, if you know what I'm saying. And then that was kind of strange in this episode. I don't know. It didn't flow well for me, but that goes back to my original comment about the pace of the movie. It was just off to me. Or not the movie, the series was off to me. Afterwards, when Sarah tries to sneak back into her home, Braden was still up waiting for her, and the episode fades to black, and we hear Braden ask Sarah, "What the F are you up to?" That did make me chuckle, but that's how the episode ended. Oh yeah, in my community tab, I mentioned a highlight in this show is Jax's fashion. The thumbnail for this recording is an example of her high fashion. And she not only looked good in this outfit, but she felt good because that was after she and Damon had that night together. Jax's fashion is fire. I really love all of her outfits she's in. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say there. I'm not giving up. I'm committed to supporting this show for the rest of the season. I hope there's a shift in this next episode. Episode 5 wasn't so good. This one, the pace was a little off to me. But we did learn a little bit more and it kind of advanced the story. So hopefully we're getting closer to honing in on real suspects here, right? And I want to know what Will is up to. So I want to see Will in the next episode. Remember, that was the security guard that had that night with Jax, and now he wants more, but she was like, this was just fun. So I still think he's wrapped up in this somehow. All right, Reasonable Doubt, streaming on Hulu with new episodes every Tuesday. Are you watching? Let me know your thoughts in a comment below. And that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow. So thank you in advance. My name is Danielle. You're listening to Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.